Hey now, this is the WrestleMania recap, WrestleMania 33 recap, and wanted to start off by saying thanks to Man Cave Podcast for having that tailgate. Javier was there with some people. They had a good time, from what Javier told me, and also he met Mark Charles. You can follow him on Twitter at the Legal Man Mark. He has his own talk show, radio talk show, MMA talk show, and also a wrestling talk show. Thursdays at 11:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is the MMA talk show, and Wednesdays at 11:05 p.m. is his other show. And we'll start this. Before we start this, there's some shout outs I wanted to give out here. So, I've asked in the first few episodes to please rate us and review us on iTunes. I don't use Google Play Music or any of the other ones. All I have is iTunes. But there's other podcast-enabled apps that allow you to give ratings and reviews on the actual episodes or maybe even the shows that you listen to. So iTunes allows you to review the actual show. So we've had 3 so far, and I'm going to read a few of these. So the first one goes off and says, way to go, guys. Very good podcast. Enjoyed it very much. The topics are precise and well-researched. Keep it up. Looking forward to more podcasts. And the next one says, the show was really great. Just 2 guys talking about things that 2 friends talk about and bring up while having some beers. And the last review goes on and says, this is an awesome start to a wonderful relationship. I just finished listening to episode 6. It's late at night, so I'm reading and it's a little difficult. The topics and tone were great. It seriously was like sitting around a table with a whole bunch of guys. For us girls, so I guess this is a girls' review. For us girls, we get a glimpse on what guys talk about when we are not around. I enjoy the back and forth between Robert and Javier as I drive to work. They keep me sane while in traffic. I'm not really into gaming, but I love listening to their opinions on movies, TV shows. Great bits, condensed info. So, thank you to those listeners that actually rated and reviewed us on iTunes. But we want the rest of you listeners to please rate us and review us on iTunes. Whether it's you love the show and you give it a 5 stars rating, or you don't like it and you hate it and you want to give it a 1 star or 2 star or 3, whatever. Just take a minute or 2 and just rate us and review us. That really helps us a lot. It helps support the show. And enough of me talking. Let's start this. Here with Javier. We might have a special guest coming out later during this episode. So we'll let you know when that happens. So WrestleMania was obviously on Sunday. And I saw WrestleMania. This is my first time seeing WrestleMania in when was the last one? 24?
24.
So that's like 9 years ago. Yeah. And it brought back memories, man. Seeing a lot of the same characters that I had seen for many years. It was way too long for me. It was, what was it, 5 fucking hours or something like that?
Yep.
Shit.
Including the pre-show.
Yeah, and
well, should I say not including the pre-show? Sorry.
Yeah, no. And I was watching it, but I wasn't fully. I'm gonna be honest with you. I wasn't fully paying attention to some matches because I don't even know who the fuck these guys were. I mean, the ones that I knew that I'm familiar with, I would pay a little bit more attention, but the other ones, I fucking zoned out.
Who did you actually recognize?
I recognize obviously Undertaker, Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, Cena. Let me see who else: Lesnar, Goldberg, the Hardys. Yeah, I think I said Triple H. Well, Triple H.
You said Roman Reigns, but probably because I
Jericho.
mentioned him so many times.
Yeah, and so on and so on. We can go into details about that as we go along. I'll give some from my input, but I wanted to ask you first. So, how was the trip to Orlando? What did you guys do before WrestleMania?
So for the Orlando trip, we just simply flew past WrestleManias. So like the past 8 WrestleManias, I've traveled with the coach, and to 2 WrestleManias before that.
The coach. That's a fucking pretty cool name.
That's his gimmick. He's the coach.
The fucking coach. Go ahead.
The first year I went with you, which is WrestleMania 24, which was also in Orlando. So my 10th anniversary one was basically at Orlando again.
All right.
And the second one, I went with a friend. So mostly have traveled with coach. Some years we have actually driven and making a road trip out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Literally be on the road to WrestleMania. But no, this time we flew. It's only about a 2.5, 3 hour flight to Orlando. And when I was there, I really did nothing wrestling related till the day of. I mostly stayed at Disney World. We brought he brought his girlfriend, I brought my fiance. And they hang out in Disney on Sunday when WrestleMania was going on. Next year, my fiance, actually at that point she'll be my wife, will actually join me for WrestleMania.
Congratulations, sir.
Oh, thank you.
This will be a wedding present, taking her to WrestleMania?
Honestly, it's just going to be a normal trip. We have other stuff.
I don't think she would be fond of you giving her a gift of a trip to WrestleMania. Some women might be, but I don't know about her.
No, she's actually, because of the Royal Rumble, she went with me to San Antonio for the Royal Rumble.
Right.
And it kind of hooked her a little bit. She watches it casually, even without me. But the Royal Rumble really got her more involved in it.
Right.
I also use the scorecards with her, and she likes that too. We have our own little, bettings going on with that.
Oh, that's cool. I'm going to see if my fiance can get into that scorecard stuff.
Yeah, it makes it more fun, really. So basically, this WrestleMania, you asked about what I did around.
Yeah, what did you do
tons
on the way when you arrived to Orlando? You said Disney World.
Yeah, at Disney World on the plane, I was just playing Has Been Heroes on my Switch. I kept on getting asked about the Switch and stuff. Actually, one of the flight attendants was asking me about the Switch.
Oh, okay.
She's like, "Oh, my boyfriend loves video games. What are you playing? I seen other people use this." And I go, "It's a Switch." She's like,
what game were you playing? The Has Been what?
Yeah, the Has Been Heroes. I played Zelda for maybe like 10 minutes. I didn't play that much Zelda because I knew with Zelda the battery drains even faster.
Zelda sucks.
No, it's one of the best games. So, So besides the plane trip, it was just Disney World, and there's been times where I did other stuff that was actually wrestling related, like in San Francisco, Dallas, New Orleans for 30. I think that's it. I've only been to like Access 2 times, WrestleCon 2 times. I've been trying to go. I went to NXT both times as well.
Right.
But all the other times, really, when I went. I didn't do anything else that was wrestling related. I did want to go to the ROH Supercard that was on Saturday night, but I didn't go.
So you weren't there for the? Oh, sorry, you weren't there for the Hall of Fame.
It goes on.
That was Thursday. No, that was Thursday. You didn't fly Thursday.
Actually, I think it was Friday night.
Oh, maybe you were right. Maybe it was Friday night.
No, I actually never been to Hall of Fame before.
Oh.
I try to make the trip, 2 birds with 1 stone kind of thing.
Right.
I do vacation stuff. there's a few, like I said, like only like twice where I really did other wrestling related things.
Were there
And
a
this
lot?
year I did. This year I didn't really want to do it, but we had both our girlfriends involved, so I wanted to go to big kaiju battle. They had a show at midnight.
Right.
I want to go to the ROH pay per view, I pay per view, and there was something else. We did drop by the Hardy tailgate party. I will mention that. I didn't actually go in it. I walked by the ring because it's outside.
Right.
And I saw what was happening, but I didn't like stay and do anything really. I was considering to get an autograph and stuff, but we didn't. We went to. We parked really far from the stadium.
So this is already when you're there.
Yeah, sorry, so I'm skipping around too much. So
no, it's
that
fine.
was your question was just what happened when what was I doing?
So now you're already mentioning about what you did on your way to WrestleMania. What did you guys do before entering the stadium?
Right. So before getting to the stadium, well, this is what I like to do. I like to go there early because
Right.
traffic. Imagine 70,000 plus people in traffic. It's crazy. So I usually get there a few hours early and park far because then once again, tons of cars try and leave at the same time around the stadium.
Right.
If you park further away, you will walk to your car and you're going to be much faster than people even driving their cars because there's so much traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember when
you're literally walking slow. You're not walking that fast, but the cars are just stuck there.
Yeah, I remember when you and I went to WrestleMania 24. We walked like it seemed like 15 minutes just to get to the stadium from the parking lot that we parked in.
Yeah, the next 2 years after that, I had to learn the hard way not to park at the stadium. But anyways,
Yeah.
we parked about. I actually looked at my GPS. A mile and a half, 1.5 miles from the stadium.
Shit.
And that was conveniently actually right by the Hardy's tailgate
That's a
party.
good 15-20 minute walk.
Yeah. So we walked to it, and on Twitter, I knew about the Man Cave podcast, and I've actually heard one of their episodes. And shout out to those guys. There's a great podcast.
Their podcast is really cool.
One of the last episodes they just released the interview with the porn star. So
Bobby Dillon, I think
Right.
her name was.
yeah. So yeah, very manly topics and guests.
They also he's also friends with another podcast you were a guest on, PPW, Positively Pro Wrestling.
Yeah, and yeah, they tweet back and forth. They know each other.
Yeah, he wasn't able to go, but the Man Cave podcast was able to go to the WrestleMania.
Yeah, so me and the coach went to that area, said hello. To be honest, we probably hung down there around an hour and a half, maybe longer. And they were offering free beer to people. You could tell people were like hesitant. I didn't drink any beer because I just don't really drink beer.
You don't drink beer? What the fuck?
Yeah, I know. Just about wine, and that's about it, really.
Oh, jeez, wine. That's that hipster shit. I'm
So-
kidding.
Yeah, if you went, you would have been like, shit.
I would have had
we
like a
have, 5
shitload
beers.
of beers.
Yeah. They offered me food and everything. And the thing is, I just ate before I went there, too.
Oh, damn. What kind of food? Like hot dogs and shit?
Yeah, it was like a barbecue joint. It was called Pig Floyd.
That's cool.
It's in the downtown Orlando area. I actually do highly recommend it. It was really tasty.
Que rico.
Yes. And then we hung out. They did a little live podcast. I didn't join in.
I saw the photo on their Twitter. You were in it.
Yeah, I did. We did photos and stuff, and you could catch that on our Twitter.
You look very sexy in it.
Yeah, always. I'm wearing the WrestleMania 26.
You had a red,
jersey.
a red jersey.
Yeah, it was the red and white. That's the WrestleMania 26 jersey. Actually, forgot to bring my WrestleMania 24 hat. I actually still have the hat. I brought like the Royal Rumble hat instead. Not thinking, oh wait, I do have a Royal Rumble 24 hat.
I didn't know you bought a hat.
Yeah, that's it.
Do you make it a habit to buy a souvenir every WrestleMania you attend?
Yeah, so this WrestleMania I bought the shirt, like a regular shirt that says I was there. They've been doing that ever since we've been going. Well, when I went with you, should I say?
Yeah.
WrestleMania 24. I remember that shirt. It was white, and in the back it said I was there.
Do you don't have that shirt?
No, that shirt. I remember it ripped. I forgot how or whatever.
Oh, so you only have the baseball cap.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but yeah, we hanging around there for quite a while. I drink water, and they had a bunch of people stop by and talk. It was great to meet them. And then I think around 4:30, I think it was 4. We just started going to the stadium.
And how was it going into the stadium? Was it quick and easy, or was it long and?
It took a while. To be honest, this area for this WrestleMania wasn't that great. Just like last time.
Right.
It's just the area around there is pretty much shit.
Yeah, I remember. It hasn't changed then.
No, it's like run down all over the place. Actually, funny enough, I went to a gas station to get money out with the coach, and there were these guys who was just going through the trash and then putting it in their truck and everything. I'm like, okay,
we gotta.
This is the kind of area
we gotta help those people.
But yeah, I mean, whatever. And to be honest, also the traffic pattern wasn't built for tons of people leaving at the same time. Like, even though we skipped the stadium traffic itself, like around the stadium,
right,
we still hit a lot of traffic on the highway. Because the highway, I think, is I-4. Because you're from Miami and been to Orlando plenty of times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I-4 is one of the major interstates that we use, and it's not. I think maybe 3. I don't know. It has 4 lanes. I think mostly 3 lanes. It's not a very good highway for mass exodus like that. But yeah, and I got there, and I sat down for just about the whole show. Only took like 2 or 3 breaks, which is a lot of. That's what started at 5 in the pre-show.
Yes.
The thing.
I think it was more like 5:30ish, from what I recall.
No, you might have missed the first. Well, actually, I think the first match started at 5:30. I think you're right.
Yeah, because for a good, I started watching it on the app, the WWE Network app, around 5ish, and it was just Shawn Michaels, Jerry Lawler, Booker T, and some blonde lady talking for a good 15-20 minutes before I saw a match appear on screen.
That blonde lady was likely Renee Young. She's actually the girlfriend of Dean Ambrose.
Oh, shit.
Which you might have seen him in the pay-per-view. Depends if you paid attention.
Yeah, I saw the Ambrose match.
Yeah. So, what did you think? You're a much casual fan. You watched it in over 10 years. What did you think? Well, you watched a little bit here and there, but not really much. What did you think of the pay-per-view?
I thought it was good. I mean, it was... Not much has changed. I mean, from what I remember, just the matches begin pretty much one after another. There is some little break in between matches. It just didn't seem, this WrestleMania obviously looked like they put a lot more production value. The arena, the stadium had like a roller coaster theme because you're in an amusement park like city, Orlando. So that was unique. With the ramp. Behind it had the roller coaster contraption that they built. So that was pretty neat.
And that globe, like Universal.
Yeah, where was that? Near the ramp? I don't recall that.
Yeah, like the back of the ramp. There is a big globe, kind of like Universal Studios does.
Oh. I did notice a little different than when we were there 9 years ago. Was that the actual ring? I think 9 years ago they didn't have like a cover, like a ceiling over it. This time they did, and it was like a bigger version of the ring, on top of the actual ring where the matches were going on.
No, I think for 24 they did have something, but it wasn't.
It wasn't like that. I don't remember it being like that.
It wasn't that. It
was
fancy.
just like almost like a canopy, like a tent, just in case it rained. But I don't remember it like being able to cover in case it did rain, because it did rain a bit. We did get a little wet. Not that it didn't rain a lot. It was just like a few drops here and there, and then it was gone.
Typical Florida weather.
Yeah. Speaking of weather, how was the weather when you were there?
Hot. It was probably mid to late 80s, and it did like drizzle for like 30 seconds or something like that.
Wow, when you were inside the stadium?
Yeah.
You see, the same shit happened when we were there.
Yeah, it's the typical weather there, in at least that time frame. Florida weather doesn't change too much. It's just the rain comes here and there. It really, you can wait 5 minutes and the rain is gone.
Yeah, and what were some of your favorite moments of this WrestleMania?
Two of the big moments that stick out is the Hardys coming back. I might have mentioned it in the podcast before. I think I have, about the broken Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy.
Yes.
Or Brother Nero.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, and I love that. That's my favorite gimmick of last year. That character, the things they did was crazy, out of this world.
That was a good match. I did see that one.
But they didn't act like those characters, but it was a big surprise. I'll tell you how big of a surprise it was. So I told you earlier that there was a broken tailgate party, which was the Hardys were there.
Right.
So they were there before WrestleMania, and I read reports that people saw them in the hotel, and Jeff Hardy was like, "Oh man, I'm hurt from last night's match," because he was at the ROH pay-per-view,
yeah,
and they had a ladder match on that pay-per-view.
Oh, sure.
So Jeff Hardy's like, "Oh, I'm really sore. I can't move much," and they also Photoshop a picture of themselves in the the airport or something.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they tried really hard to hide the fact that they were not going to be there.
Oh, funny.
They went to the great extent, and they showed up, and that was a huge surprise. That was the biggest pop or reaction from the crowd the whole night. When they came out, people were so excited, and they did the delete chants, deletes from that character I was talking about.
Yeah,
and that was a great moment, and I loved it. The other moment is the Undertaker retiring.
Yeah, that was. I actually did not see that. It was a little bit after midnight, so I actually saw him when he was laying on the ring, and he just stood up, and then I was like, "All right, I can't take another second." I just turned it off. I went straight to bed. I just was falling asleep.
Yeah, it was way too late on pay-per-view.
Yeah,
but yeah, I kind of had a feeling he might have retired.
So, what were your thoughts when you did you? Well, you said you had a feeling. But do you know if anybody else had a feeling? Did you hear anything from any of the other attendees?
People have been thinking every year, the past few years, everybody always thinks Undertaker's retiring. So this year was no different. But the thing to me was that Jim Ross, JR,
right, good
old JR, he showed up be a special commentator for the match. Mm-hmm. And I've heard before that. I don't know. I guess it's from JR, or I don't know who might have said it, but mentioned that he wanted JR to commentate Undertaker's last match, because JR is highly regarded as a commentator and favored by a lot of the wrestlers.
Right.
So the fact that he's not in the company, and they brought him in for that match.
Yeah, he commentated a lot of Undertaker's matches.
Right, and he, I guess they might be friends or whatever.
Possibly.
Or just respect each other's work a lot. Undertaker is highly respected, obviously. And so is JR, but that was one clue. And the fact that it's just, there's stuff he can't do in the ring anymore. If you watch the match, you won't do old school. Old school is when he gets on the top rope.
Yeah.
He doesn't do that because he can't. He's wrestled for over, I think it was 27 years.
Yeah, close to 30 years.
Right. And, I mean, the guy has gone through a lot.
Yeah, he had a neck injury years ago. He had an arm injury as well. He had multiple injuries throughout his 28 years.
Right, and if you watch the match, at least in person, you could tell that when he took a fall or a bump, he sold it. As when I say sold it, I mean he made you believe he was really hurt. But I think that was actually an extent.
Yeah,
and he needed time to get up and stuff.
Yeah.
And Roman Reigns helped him there, but you could tell he wasn't the same. Which is, I think, this is why he finally decided to retire, because he's just not able to perform at the same level anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't have the speed anymore or the agility anymore.
Yeah, like people liked his match with CM Punk. I thought it was an okay match, but his last real awesome match was him versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 26, and here we are at 33. It's been quite a while. Even a Brock Lesnar's match, which was 30, you could tell he wasn't the same anymore. So I don't know which WrestleMania you could tell he just started slowing down, but it was probably somewhere between 26 and 30. And Undertaker is one of the first wrestlers. I consider my favorite. He was the wrestler I remember the earliest. I remember him debuting on Survivor Series. Now I did not watch Survivor Series live, but I watched like a VHS of it from like a Blockbuster or whatever.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't think it was a Blockbuster back then. I forget what it was. Some local store.
It was probably one of those local video stores.
Yeah, and I watched it on video. I watched a lot of stuff back in the day in video because I didn't have
because that's how people can tell how old we are, because we actually were around for VHS.
Yeah. Like I remember watching WrestleMania 3 on VHS,
Yeah. Same here.
Hulk Hogan slammed Andre the Giant.
Exactly. What other moments, if there were any, that stood out for you?
I would say the match between AJ Styles and Shane McMahon was pretty good. I was surprised they started first, but after digesting the whole pay-per-view, the whole WrestleMania, I think it actually was a great idea. It started out hot.
Yeah.
Plus, they had the advantage of not going after some big match, because if you notice, you'll see the suffering that happens between Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton.
Right.
It was like a normal match, except with those worms they did. That you know what I'm talking about, that thing they did in the ring.
I didn't see that's the match. Unfortunately, I was busy editing another episode of this and distracted with other things, so I didn't focus a lot on the Randy Orton match.
I can tell you, by that time, the crowd was not as hot anymore. They were, getting tired. Mm-hmm. They didn't do anything too special in that match besides the little. This is some that. Basically, imagine the ring was like a canvas, or some kind of projector background. Not background, but those things that roll down for the projector to project on. I think it's called a canvas. I mean, I don't know what else.
Yeah.
But that match was really stale. Besides that, but they went in almost last, and at that point, we have seen so much wrestling, and people do so many different things,
right?
That's why the crowd wasn't excited for it. But Shane and AJ started off first. They didn't have to go through anything like that, and they had an awesome match.
Was the crowd excited for the Shane match?
Yeah, people love AJ Styles. He's supposed to be the bad guy, but he was getting cheered.
Yeah,
and it worked out really well for that. The way that it was the first match. Besides that, I was actually starting to fall asleep.
No fucking way.
Yeah, and funny enough, it was the Brock Lesnar and
Goldberg
match that woke me up because it was just fast paced.
That was a crazy match. How he started it with the German suplexes.
That match must have had seriously 3 moves or something.
Yeah, it was just the same fucking move over and over.
Brock Lesnar just did
spear by Goldberg.
But Goldberg did the spears. Brock Lesnar did the German suplexes.
Yeah.
Goldberg did the jackhammer. When he did the jackhammer and was covering him for the pin, we thought it was over, and because no one ever really kicks out of that.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think. Actually, I looked this up today. That was Goldberg's first and obviously last time he ever was pinned, and it was a clean finish. As in, no cheating was involved.
No outside interference, nothing.
Nothing like that. This is the first time in his career he lost like that in a one-on-one match, and it's his last one.
Damn.
So I think that's why one reason you got that kind of reaction, because no one ever. I don't know if anyone's ever kicked out of the jackhammer from Goldberg before, but definitely him losing was a big deal. And doing the Raw, I missed actually most of the Raw's women match. I went to go get food. I was getting hungry. I caught the SmackDown women's match. I liked that one. Naomi, I forgot Naomi was a hometown girl. I didn't know I forgot she was from Orlando, because she used to dance with the Orlando Magic.
And she won that match?
Yeah. But I think that's still big moments. Her winning was a big moment. She's loved by fans. What about you? What do you remember the most from the pay-per-view?
Just most of the same ones you mentioned. The Brock Lesnar, Goldberg. I thought it was it was what I expected. It was entertaining. I mean, it wasn't like boring. I thought it wasn't like slow paced. I was surprised that it was at a fairly quick pace. I knew it was going to be a short match too. I didn't think it was going to be drawn out. The Hardys ladder match was also a very good one. I'm trying to see what other ones I remember off the top of my head. Undertaker won, as you mentioned.
No, Undertaker lost.
Yeah, no, I mean Undertaker match. Sorry,
Tired.
I mean it as one as a match. I don't think I remember seeing much of the Bray Wyatt match. I don't.
Just a quick note on you mentioned the Undertaker match. Roman Reigns the next night on Raw. Did you watch Raw at all?
No, I was too busy with other stuff.
Raw opened like the first 10 minutes was just Roman Reigns in the ring.
Yeah.
And in 10 minutes, I shit you not, he said one sentence. Every time he tried to get talk, people were fucking on his ass.
What were they doing?
They were saying "fuck you, Roman" and stuff like that.
Because he defeated Undertaker.
Yeah, and then people were like chanting "Go away, go away," shit like that. I can't remember all the chants, but they were basically shitting all over him.
Wow.
And the only thing he said was, "This is my yard now." Because Undertaker used to say,
"Yeah,
I don't know if
my
you remember.
yard." He said it. He said it. I think twice during the WrestleMania match.
Okay, yeah. I didn't hear any audio. So.
Yeah, I heard it. That's funny.
So when it comes to the live crowd, I actually would like the coach to come in and describe his experience with a live crowd. So let's ask him some questions.
Is he coming on now?
Yeah.
So should I start off by saying hello to all the Biddles out there?
Biddles. Sure, that'll be fine.
It's for you viewers, the Biddles.
Biddles. Well, I'm sure they'll appreciate that, sir. How was your trip to Orlando?
It was very exhausting, to say the least.
Really? Not much fun?
It was a ton of fun. It's just you get down there and all the attractions that you're doing, the WrestleMania experience.
Yeah.
It just wears you down.
What did you do before WrestleMania?
Well, Javier and I and our girlfriends, we went to the Animal Kingdom. That was a pretty interesting experience.
Have you
that
been
was
there,
on Friday.
Have you been there before?
And then we went to the bar called Trader Sam's Grotto Grog that night. If you haven't ever been there, I highly suggest you visit it.
Oh, really? I'm going to have to do that. That's cool.
Then on Saturday, we went to the Magic Kingdom. That was really fun. It was pretty hot, though.
Welcome to Florida.
Then on Sunday, it was the big event, WrestleMania.
And how was that? What did you guys do before WrestleMania on your way there?
Well, quick shout out to, I guess, the Man Cave podcast. We visited their little booth. They were handing out free beers. So if you were at WrestleMania, to the Biddles out there, the Man Cave podcast was handing out free beers, and we stopped by their tent, got to see their podcast go on. And then after that, we headed to the event, walked around, and eventually we got to get inside and get seated.
What were some of your favorite moments of WrestleMania 33?
Oddly enough, before the event even started, and this is just some of the passion you get from the crowd.
Yeah.
There was this really interesting guy walking around dressed up like Stone Cold Steve Austin, challenging other guys who were dressed up as other wrestlers to like fake fights. So the most memorable one, here comes this guy walking down the steps dressed as Stone Cold with this guy that's with him. He's dressed up as a referee. Yeah. So, when he challenges someone,
you have a referee.
He's calling the matches. while Stone Cold's putting kicking a mud hole into someone. Here's a guy walking around. He looks like he could literally fill in for the Ultimate Warrior. He sees him walking down the steps, charging at him.
Yeah.
He gets into it, and they both start like fighting right there at the bottom of the steps. And crowd's going nuts in this one section. You could hear them chanting like "This is awesome" and all kinds of crazy stuff going on. The ref gets involved. He's like, helping Stone Cold. he's like his friend, so he's helping to cheat. They start beating up on Ultimate Warrior. Here comes a guy dressed up as either it was Sin Cara or maybe Rey Mysterio. He gets involved. He jumps off a chair onto both of them, I guess.
Wow. These guys got really into it.
What'd you ask?
They got really into that.
Oh yeah, the crowd was going nuts. Like they were like cheering the whole time this was going on. The guy who dressed up as Ultimate Warrior, he takes this guy dressed up as Stone Cold, picks him up over his head, and fake drops him. And then of all the guys that you would think would win this match, here comes another guy out of nowhere dressed as Ric Flair.
Oh.
He walks in, puts the figure 4 on Stone Cold, and then they ring the bell like the fake bell that Ric Flair, the legend, he wins.
Oh, that sounds more fun than the actual WrestleMania.
It really got the crowd into it. I'll have to admit.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun. That's a good way to have people get into the whole atmosphere.
Then for the actual event itself, the very first match on the pre-show was actually really good. It was Austin Aries versus Neville, and that was a really good match. The Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, that had plenty of surprises, so that was actually really good. Mm-hmm. I didn't expect for Mojo Rawley to win it, but obviously I guess WWE has some faith in him, so we might be able to see that he's the next guy that they push.
Yeah.
And then leading into the actual card, the main card, I'd say the match of the night was definitely the tag team match. The tag team ladder match for the Raw championships.
Right.
The Hardy Boys came back. The crowd went nuts on that one.
Yes.
So that was a pretty surprising moment. I think everyone kind of knew that they were going to show up, but I don't think the crowd really expected them to just flat out win the titles. But they did, and now they're the new champs. That was actually a really good match, and I'd say it's probably the match of the night. Other highlights of the night were probably the Shane versus AJ Styles match. That was a really solid match. And the Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho match was also a really great match.
What about what'd you think of the Lesnar Goldberg?
That match, even though the crowd was kind of into it, the match overall, in terms of just quality, wasn't very good at all. To me, it was sort of boring. Like, you knew what was going to sort of happen, but it was very basic.
Like I was mentioning to Javier earlier, I didn't think it was a bad match overall. It was actually, it wasn't a slow pace as I thought it would be. I was surprised.
It wasn't really slow pace, but there just wasn't a lot of variety to it. Like,
of course, it was.
Lesnar just comes out, picks up Goldberg,
yeah,
10 times or something.
Yeah. And then Goldberg just does his spear after spear.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, overall, I guess it was an effective transition from one, guy who has the title to the other.
Right.
Goldberg to Lesnar. But overall, just in terms of an actual quality match, I didn't really care for it that much.
What was one thing that stood out for you that entire night?
Honestly, it's definitely just the Hardy Boys coming back. That stood out a lot because they just have been on fire out in TNA. Like, they were really the only one of the reasons to watch TNA.
Right.
And then they started touring, going to different wrestling organizations like Ring of Honor, and they won the titles there. they're on this quest to get all the titles in all the major organizations so they can be the best tag teams in time and space, as they say.
Yeah.
And now they're on, WWE, and they won the titles. That was just a really memorable moment seeing them come out. I think other than that, getting to see Kurt Angle at a live event, since I had never been able to see Kurt Angle at a live event, that was actually really memorable. I mean, when his music hit, the crowd was singing along. It was really loud in the place. The atmosphere was on fire when he came out. It's just really awesome to see Kurt Angle be there at WrestleMania. And of course, I mean, the big one, Undertaker retiring, that was a pretty huge moment, getting to see that live. Obviously, it's really important in terms of history for the WWE. Probably the most iconic wrestler, at least here in the last 15 years.
Yeah.
That was a pretty big moment of the night.
Was there anything that I'm not, the word isn't negative, but anything you wish would have been done differently or didn't like as much as you thought you would?
I think the match overall with Undertaker and Roman Reigns was pretty below average. I mean, I would have liked to have seen the match be a lot better than it ended up being. I can kind of see the story that they were telling there, though. I mean, obviously Undertaker's sort of a broken down guy. He's on the verge of retirement. And I mean, it was his last match, so obviously it was going to be the main event, but still, it's kind of like maybe you should have done it earlier, just because you could really tell that he just could not go like he used to. Other than that, I mean, some of the matches were just sort of like watching an episode of Raw. Like Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt, even though that was a solid match,
yeah,
Randy Orton just never does anything that's spectacular. He just sort of is kind of a mediocre guy to watch. Like none of his matches ever feel real special. Like not since he was young when he had some really great matches, but now that he's later in his career, he just sort of is very vanilla with everything. It's just nothing ever feels like really big when he's having a match.
Is there anything else you want to mention before we end this?
I mean, overall, I'd say the event was really good. I thought that WrestleMania, the beginning was definitely a lot better. I'd say the highlights of the night were probably in the first half of the show. Up to about the 3/4 point, the show was really, really, really good. And then the last part of it, even though it was memorable and obviously it was the bigger guys on the card, it's just the match quality sort of took a dive. But overall, I'd rate WrestleMania as being a really good event. It was pretty awesome to see it live.
That's good. Thank you, Coach, for being a guest. Hopefully we hear back from you in the future.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
If there was anything negative or anything that stood out as underwhelming, what would you say that what would that be?
I would say it was just the length. That was a long pay-per-view. I remember last year for Dallas, I was like, wow, this is really long. This is becoming like the new standard, a really long pay-per-view. I think last year was like 5-6 hours. And
with the pre-show, this one was how long? Because it started at 5?
Yeah, I mean they were talking for a while, but basically, if you turn in from the pre-show and wait all the way to the end, we're talking about 7-hour pay-per-view.
Yeah, it was after midnight. A few minutes after midnight.
Yes, crazy.
So that's the only negative thing you had was the length.
Yeah, and it's kind of difficult because some of those matches were kind of necessary. Because if you're not in WrestleMania, then people will think you're not a big deal. So like AJ Styles had to have a match. The women should defend their title, or else you're saying they're not main event status. Like the SmackDown tag team title was not even defended, which that kind of sucks. That's like I think that was the only title not defended. Yeah, I don't. That was the only title not defended, which is crazy. I think the SmackDown tag division is better. Well, it was better. Now we have the Hardys and Raw, but it's like, well, there's a title off the card.
Here's one thing that stood out. That John Cena shit, wedding proposal. My fiance was on the couch. She was showing me something on the phone, and then that came on, and I told her to look at the TV, and she's like, "What the fuck is that?" This shit was so bad. It was worse than like these fucking cheesy ass soap operas, man.
Oh yeah, I did not even talk at all about that match for a good reason. I didn't even watch it. So what happened? I wasn't in the bathroom or went to get food.
Oh, when Cena came out to propose?
No, the match. Period.
Okay, the whole match. Okay.
Okay, I'll explain. Really
Well,
quick.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't see the match either. I just saw that part.
Yeah, I did catch like the very beginning of the match when Miz was doing stuff.
Right.
But I didn't want after a bit of his offense and him getting cheered. I tuned out. I liked him a lot. Okay, John Cena. I don't like his character at all. Mm-hmm. He's very limited in the number of moves he does in the ring. But to me, really, it's the character. It's really boring to me. Really boring. And I'm not one of those people going to say Cena sucks because I'm giving a reaction. I don't even want him to even have a reaction. So that's why I give him zero reaction. I don't even pay attention. Usually in SmackDown, I fast forward through his crap. And I mute him if he's doing promos. And then when he's on in that match, right. me and the coach started talking about plans for tomorrow, the next day.
You guys were not even vested in that match.
People were standing up and stuff. We were just sitting down talking about plans for the next day. I kind of in the corner of my eye stuff the Miz was doing. That was it because I like him as a wrestler. But Cena, I don't give a shit. So I don't give him a reaction. I don't say Cena sucks. Right. I give him zero reaction, which is even worse.
Shit, sir.
That's the kind of hate I have for the Cena character.
That much hatred. What the fuck did he ever do to you?
I have never completely ignored a wrestler like that before. I just learned because I remember I bought a John Cena sucks shirt, right. And then I realized that was really stupid of me because then he just made money off of me. And I just realized I can't even do that. I can't cheer him because then he's getting a reaction. If there's a wrestler who comes out and gets zero reaction, right. He's not going to be on TV much longer because then the crowd doesn't care. And that's what it is. What Cena is to me, a wrestler I do not care about.
A wrestler you don't give a shit about.
And the Bellas are the same way. I don't care about the Bellas. Nikki Bella is his twin sister named Brie Bella. You don't know that. And
nope.
Yeah, and they're also they're good eye candy. But after that, I don't care anymore. And her sister, the one that's gone or retired, was the worst of the two. They were both horrible because they came in during that time when the female wrestlers were just eye candy, and that's it really. Nikki better. I will admit that she got better, but she's not that great. Mm-hmm. They act like because they do act like she's one of the best or something, but she's nowhere near that at all. So, anyways, went on a rant there, but I don't like Cena outside and paying attention to his match.
Wow. I thought everybody loves Cena.
Yes.
Any other things you want to mention about WrestleMania?
I think we covered most of it. I can't. What match did we talk about?
We talked about we didn't. Did we mention about Jericho?
Oh yeah. I mean, the match was okay.
Yeah.
It was one of those matches where there's the problem. There's so many matches on the card that each of them have to be different and special in their own way. Right. The specialty about this match was just the story, which was great, but there wasn't anything really beyond that for me.
Yeah.
I mean, Kevin Owens did the thing with his finger to ropes, which is unique, but that's it. I did meet somebody at this is going back here.
Right.
At the Man Cave podcast tent. Mm-hmm. Met a guy named Mark Charles. He's actually the host of a radio show called MMA Talk Show. Well, it's out in the Tampa area. We talked for a bit, and he yeah, we just kind of hit it off and talked about wrestling, and it was nice to meet him.
Oh, that's cool.
So shout out to him.
Yeah,
He's his Twitter handle is at the legal man Mark.
The legal man Mark.
Yeah, Mark as with MARC, not MR. MARK, no C instead.
Yeah. What did you guys end up doing after WrestleMania? How was it? Hectic getting out of the stadium.
Yeah, like I said, we walked, and obviously we passed a lot of cars. Got to our parking lot eventually, and got on the highway probably within the next 10 to 15 minutes. Probably a lot faster than most people.
What did you guys end up doing the following day?
We went to Hollywood Studios in Disney World. At that point, Robert, not Robert, because you're Robert.
I'm Robert, the coach.
The coach, he was dead tired. Like he was like a zombie for the day, and I was tired, but I wasn't a zombie. Most of us, almost all four of us were like pretty much tired. So I think we stayed in Hollywood Studios for maybe 5-6 hours.
What was there to do at Hollywood Studios? I actually don't recall I've ever stepped foot inside Hollywood Studios.
Well, they have the Indiana Jones stunt show.
Oh, they still got that.
Yeah, they still have the Star Wars ride. That's been there for quite a while. They have a Beauty and the Beast live show. They have the Hollywood Tower of Terror. They have the Rolling Stones. No, it's not Rolling Stones. It's Aerosmith. Aerosmith roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have a Toy Story ride, which is just a shooting game. But they're expanding that, and they're gonna add a whole big Toy Story section. And they had something with the Muppets, like a 4D show kind of thing.
Right.
And this is a ride called the Great Movie Ride, which sucks ass, and I didn't go to it.
Sucks.
It's a slow ride, and it just shows you scenes from old movies that you've likely never seen.
Damn, sir, the classics.
Sorry, like this is really old movies, and I love some of the old movies, but like King Kong or something. But it's not interesting to if you're younger than 60. It's not that interesting to you.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what else. They have the center stage up. They have like added this like Star Wars thing going on. This is like a little show goes on quite a while. Like Darth Vader comes out and he's like talking crap, or they dance or something. I remember one time I walked by and they had Darth Maul like swinging his lightsaber around, and I don't know, he was just masturbating or something. I don't know what he was doing.
With his lightsaber at Disney World. Oh,
yeah.
How hilarious.
There is like a little section also for the young Jedi to train.
Oh shit, did you go train?
It's right next to the Star Wars ride, and you can kind of see some of it. Darth Vader shows up, and he's like, "Watch out, kids." Yes, it's cool. It's not. The problem is the park's like in a transitional phase. They're adding this big Toy Story section, and they took out one of the shows. They used to have a car stunt show.
Right.
I forgot the name of it, but it was a car stunt show. They removed it. They're making room for something else. I forget what else they're adding.
Are they adding the Avatar at Hollywood or Animal Kingdom?
Animal Kingdom.
And is it going to be open this year, as they mentioned? Did you hear anything about that?
I heard this year, but I was there. I don't really notice anything.
So they might not meet their deadline.
I don't know. I don't know what they're actually planning to do with it. I mean, there's a huge tree in the middle of the park. Are they going to sing with that?
There should be, because the movie focused on a big ass fucking tree.
Yes. I mean, is Mickey going to go start fucking the tree? I don't know.
Who the fuck knows? All right then. I think that about covers this WrestleMania episode. All right, so that was the WrestleMania 33 recap. It was fun watching it. It was also fun listening to those that were actually there and had a great time. If you guys were there or even watched it, let us know. Give us your opinions on Facebook and Twitter at Bits for You Podcasts on both. And until next time.